Hello and welcome to a new Flight Simulator 2024 video. Today what I would like to talk about is a little bit about how we've been feeling since the launch of Flight Simulator 2024. Now, I have experienced my own fair share of bugs, but what I wanted to talk about was what is good and what is not so good in the new simulator. So I think what we'll do is we will start by talking about what has went well so far, and then we'll go into a little bit more about what has been not so good. And there is quite a few things, let's be honest. Now, just a quick little update for you here. So this video in the background here is just a C-17 flying from Area 51 to somewhere in Texas. I can't remember quite where. So this was me just testing out the C-17 for the first time, getting used to the autopilot and all the settings and things for that. So that was quite interesting and quite fun. Maybe we'll do a video on that at some point. We'll see how things look. Okay. Well, let's get into it. So first of all, what has been good? The first thing that I've really enjoyed is the career mode. Now, career mode has a lot of issues. Let's just be open and upfront about that fact. Albeit, with those issues, I have still been really enjoying playing career mode. Now, it just adds a level of depth to the sim that just wasn't there before, unless you got some sort of third-party add-on to allow you to do some kind of career opportunities. And that was probably just transporting cargo or passengers. So the varied career missions really have quite a good replayability value. Now, some of them, like flight seeing and, skydiving, not too keen on them. But things like the VIP charter, I think that's pretty fun. It's just, an added level of, you're travelling from A to B with some passengers, but you're also doing things like, having to communicate with them and let them know how the flight's progressing, etc., doing announcements. So I think that's pretty cool. Cargo, pretty cool so far, but again, it's just an A to B. There's not a whole lot to them, but they are just simple, basic, easy missions. Now, one of the other ones that did kind of surprise me a little bit, because I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it, was the scientific research missions. They seem to have been actually quite enjoyable. It is more or less just flight seeing, but with some extra bits tacked on. There's a tornado in the middle of the plains somewhere, and you need to go and get the camera crew to film it. It was alright, it just wasn't like overly exciting. One thing I actually didn't think I would like is the world photographer mode. And actually, I tried it for the first time recently. Now, I don't think it's really anything worth recording or sharing videos for, because it's not really that exciting. But it is cool to just learn where these different landmarks are, to see how well detailed and how rendered they are in the sim. So yeah, just even taking photos of the Sphinx in Egypt, pretty cool. Is it something I'm going to spend a whole lot of time on? Probably not. But I am planning to just use it as a little bit more of a, learning the landmarks and exploring new areas. So that's pretty fun. But I'm not going to play a whole lot of it. I will probably dabble with it from time to time. One of the things I am very impressed with, and you probably, might not really notice it because it's not in every area, but is the vertical obstructions. Now, they have been pretty well done. There's lots of different vertical obstructions around the world that just add a nice little kind of landmark to navigate from if you're flying VFR. But even it just makes the world seem that little bit more real. So I'm really liking those. It's just radio towers, chimneys from factories, lots of different wind turbines and all them, even offshore wind turbines are rendered in there. So I'm pretty impressed with that, and I think that's cool. But you're also thinking about things like oil rigs. They're just cool. You know, if you've flown from like the mainland to the oil rigs and just coming up on them in a helicopter and landing, that's pretty interesting to me. And I think there should be some sort of cargo or passenger transport missions for those in the career mode. I'm not sure if they're in the career mode or not, because I haven't quite got that far yet. But that's really something that could be implemented, and I could foresee them doing that at some point in the future, because it's just a normal thing that would happen in real life. Free flight. It is free flight. Free flight is in the game, or in the sim. That was going to be something that everybody was going to try at some point. Free flight is just the basic, the standard thing of flight sim. What does it do? It doesn't really do much other than what it normally did do in any other simulator you've ever played. Is it any better done than the last sim? That's something I think that's really hard to say, and I don't think there's really much of a difference. The only thing that I think is different with it is the flight planning aspects of it. The navigation settings, or what you can actually plan in on your routes, does seem to be a little bit easier to do. So for somebody that doesn't know a whole lot about how to set them up or manage them, it is a little bit better. But it's just free flight. So it is good. The free flight is as good as it was in 2020. It's not really any better, but for what it is, it's done well, if that makes sense. Is there anything else I can think about that I like about 2024? I mean, I generally am enjoying the sim, even with any of the bugs and issues. So yeah, I'm impressed with it. What they've done here is fantastic. I mean, other than just the general level of detail for the terrain and the ground textures, the trees, the lighting. The lighting is fantastic, in my opinion. I'm really enjoying that. So there's a lot of really good features in 2024. Now we come to the bad part. Or I guess you could just say the part where we're talking about the issues. Okay, so let's be honest. There has been a lot of issues. Now, the first one that everybody's well aware of at this point is the connection to the servers. Now, this has been ironed out. We're talking about a week or so after the sim's been released. I haven't had any connection issues since. There's been no further problems. No issues loading or downloading, no issues streaming data whatsoever. Now that might be different for people with lower internet connections. However, I know some people who have lower than recommended internet connections and have had no issues along that. So it may well be that was an overblown concern, I think is the word. So the connection issues have been ironed out, and I'm glad to see that, because that was obviously the biggest problem that everyone was encountering. Now, career mode, for as much as I love it, I've already touched on it, there is a lot of bugs. Some of the taxi path that they give you is absolutely so poorly planned in the sim that it is just frustrating. It's so aggravating. The sim will tell you, and I use the taxi ribbon to tell me where I need to taxi. So on certain runways, it's fine. But even some major airports, or well-used airports, and some not very well-used airports, the hold short point changes sometimes from where it should be to somewhere further up the runway, and it will then change to another one once you get to that point. Even if you are within the hold short box guide that it gives you, it will give you entering a taxiway without announcing demerit, I guess. That, along with other things like overflying airports that don't exist in the sim, just frustrating. It just really, really takes away from the experience. The flight I did in my helicopter, so the career mode guide that I did for the helicopter passenger transport, that was the one that the sim gives you to showcase that mission. And it doesn't let you take off without skipping or breaching the rules, because the airport was in IFR. Now, this was before I unlocked the real time for the sim, so there's no need for it. It was during the day. There was no low cloud ceiling. It wasn't windy, it wasn't rainy, it wasn't snowy, it wasn't anything, but I was not able or allowed to take off. There was no way for me to ignore the ATC options to be able to do that as well. These things just frustrate people, and a lot of people have been complaining about it on Reddit, on the forums, and it is something that really needs to be addressed at some point very soon. I'm not sure how much playtesting was done on these things, but it can be forgiven if you think about, well, there's a lot of airports, not every single one of them can be tested and manually checked. There has to be something, though, that can be done about it. Otherwise, it's going to be an ongoing problem, and it's just going to frustrate people and turn them off. Okay, so I think that's enough about career mode. Career mode, I'm hoping it will get better. I mean, even if... Do you know what? I'm going to go back to one more point about career mode, is the money. The money that you make. If you're trying to do specializations, or you're trying to earn money to, like, repair your aircraft because it got damaged, just even at the beginning, like, the amount of money that you get from missions is so poor. You barely get anything. You got a lot of XP, but you get no money. But then when you go and you do freelancer missions, you get a lot more money, but less XP. I'm not quite sure what the point in that is. There needs to be a little bit of a balancing pass. Like, some missions, like, you know, flying cargo for an hour and a half, that gets you like 5,000 credits if you're lucky. Like, why? Why is that? That takes people out of the experience, and it makes people less likely to want to try these things, because the reward for your time investment is so low. Even VIP charter missions, if you're doing them as an employee, you make next to nothing. And it just doesn't make sense. Now, I do hope that that's going to get better, and I do believe that they will address these issues on an ongoing basis. Are they all going to be fixed within the next week, the next month, the next 2 or 3 months? Probably not. But they will be at some point in the future. They are obviously aware of these things. There's no way that you could create a sim of this level and not understand or know that that's a problem. So I do have faith that that will be fixed. But the only thing that just... it's hard to say is when. The when is what's really quite important, I think, at this point. Okay, enough about career mode. So, anything else that we've really found to be a problem? Well, there's been a few different issues with things like camera, you know, zooming or, you know, moving around. Like, say if you're trying to move your right mouse button to look around the cockpit, and like the mouse acceleration or something's pretty annoying. Quite a bit of issues with frames per second in certain places. Now, I'm not sure if that's a streaming data issue or if it is just general performance problems that need to be addressed. Now, it's not in every area. Obviously, the higher built up areas, the more that's going to be apparent. But it is something that needs to be looked at. I think we definitely need to try and get a bit more, you know, of a pass done on that. And I think especially at night time, because of the lighting, it can have quite a performance impact. Now, I don't even have ray trace shadows on, and I probably will turn them on at some point. But I'm just too afraid that it's going to absolutely brick my FPS. Okay, I think we've talked long enough about how we found it, but it is post-launch by about a week or so at this point, as of the recording of this video. Now, by the time I upload this video, it might be even further past that point as well, because we've got a bit of a schedule for some videos just now. So we'll see how things are looking in the future. I am very hopeful that this sim is going to get a lot better than it is currently. I do appreciate that it's going to take time. I know it's not easy. People who develop these games or sims, you know, they put a lot of effort into them. So it is going to take a lot of time. Now, if you do make it to this point in the video, and I would just like to kind of, you know, make this point here just in case, because it has happened a few times in quite a lot of my videos. Like, I don't develop the game, I don't make it. I'm not involved in any way, shape, or form with the development. So if you do have any issues with the sim, like, you know, please don't make it my problem. Like, I'm happy for you to comment, happy for constructive, you know, criticism of the developers, everything like that. But, like, just keep it, you know, keep it peaceful in the comment section. We're all here just trying to talk about a sim or a game that we all love and enjoy. Yeah, there's issues, we're all going to be frustrated, but look, just keep it clean. Okay? Please. Right, so, with that out of the way, like, I would just like to thank you for watching all the way to this point in the video. I know there's not a whole lot going on the screen here to keep you entertained, but I'm hoping that you've at least found something in here that you agree with. You know, you feel like maybe there's something that, you know, you've also experienced. But I would also like to kind of encourage you at this point to comment down below how you've found the sim, issues that you've come across. Even if you've got any workarounds that you've found for some issues, then share them. Let's all just share it around. The more you can get of those, probably the better. I am planning to make more videos for Flight Simulator 2024, and they will be, you know, coming as and when I get around to uploading them. You know, I don't work full time on YouTube, so it does take a little bit of time to get around these things. And again, look, thank you very much for watching all the way to this point in the video. I'm sure you know the drill at this point, but I would appreciate it if you're able to like and subscribe for more videos like this. If you're enjoying this kind of content, then share the videos around. Maybe you've got some friends that might be interested in it. But that'll do us for the day. Again, thank you. Hope you all have a great day. I'll see you on the next video. Take care, happy flying, and let's just keep hoping and praying that the devs will fix the game. See you next time.